This is Glenn Campbell, speaking to you from beautiful Grande Prairie, Alberta. Here's Grande Prairie. It's freaking cold out there, so that's why I'm in here. Today I'm going to talk about practice. Practice makes perfect. That's what we hear. You're supposed to practice. If you want to do something well, you're supposed to practice it again and again and again. So if you want to play a musical instrument and do it well, you need to sit down and practice every day. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours. The more you practice, the better you'll get at this instrument. If you want to be a sports superstar, you've got to practice every day. You've got to throw balls in hoops hour after hour every day. That makes perfect sense. The more you do something, the better you'll get at it. What doesn't often make a lot of sense is what people are practicing for. Take musical instruments. Musical instruments, once upon a time, were the only way to make music. You couldn't turn on a radio. You couldn't type notes into a computer. You had to physically play an instrument. So back in the medieval days, if you wanted to make music, you had to learn a flute. You had to learn a guitar. You had to do these things if you wanted to make music. Today, we can type it into a computer. So why are we doing these things? Why do we have to run a marathon? Why do we have to become a sports hero? Why should we put 6 hours a day into becoming a great hockey player, as many do here in Grande Prairie, Alberta, when, well, we can watch it on TV, but that's not the point. The point is, these are ancient skills. Anything that you're practicing for, anything that you have to practice hour after hour, day after day for in a rote manner over and over again, you've got to question whether that's really a good use of your time. Yes, it's very nice to be able to play an instrument. It's very nice to be able to sit down at a party and at a piano at a party and just to be able to play something off the top of your head and have everybody gather around and enjoy your playing. But is it worth 6 hours a day of your life? Is it worth even an hour of a day of your life to develop those skills? Think of all the things you could have done in that hour. You could have actually expanded your horizons in some way. You could have read a book in that hour. You could have done a lot of things that would have advanced you a lot more than this rote repetition of learning to play the piano. No matter what you do, you want to do it over and over again if you want to become good at it. If you want to become a good writer, you need to go out and write. You need to write every day. And the more you write, the better you understand your craft. But that's different because you can, as a writer, you can go from one meaningful project to the next meaningful project. You're not doing this rote repetition. When we say to become a good writer, you've got to write, that doesn't mean you're sitting down with a pad and a pen and repeating the same phrase over and over and over again, which is what you're doing when you're practicing for sports or practicing an instrument. You've got a very limited time on this planet. Okay? Even if you're young, your time is not unlimited. It's going to go by very fast. And you've got to make very difficult triage decisions about how you're going to spend this time. It's fun to sit down for an hour and play on the piano. Once you dedicate yourself to doing it day after day after day, you're blocking out a lot of other activities that could be a lot more productive for your time. The one thing that technology has given us is it's freed us of most of that rote learning that people used to have to do in the Middle Ages. Now we're operating at a higher level, and you should use that. You should be every day doing something new, doing something that's really expanding your horizons, and not just sitting down and repeating something rote. Now, a lot of musicians are going to be very upset with this position because they've invested a lot already in their instrument. And of course, if someone you know plays the piano well and has invested a lot in it, of course they're going to believe in it. And of course they're going to have rationale for saying why you should get into it as well. But this is your life we're talking about here. You have to decide how to use it best. And you have to decide that on a daily basis. What is the best use of my time today? And it's almost never this rote repetition. It's expanding yourself. It's doing something that challenges yourself every day.